Good morning, viewers and listeners of Concerned Citizens Media. Welcome back again. Nice to have you here. Thank you. And still checking your comments, and I enjoyed reading it and also responding to it. Sometimes it's difficult with the busy life of the America, but still I appreciate you taking part, you engaging with me. I appreciate you very much. Thank you so much. So let's get started. Here are the news and Concerned Citizens Media comment for June 23rd, 2021. I start with Sham election in Ethiopia. Ethiopia's Sham election. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and his Prosperity Party eagerly awaiting the blessing of the election board's declaration on the expected results of the election. Some unofficial results are already showing the expected Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's party leading over other parties. Individually, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed declared the winner in Bashasha, claimed to be his birthplace in Jimma election zone, with the votes of just 958, and where the Prime Minister competed as a candidate and casted his ballot on the election day. So he just won by less than 1,000 votes. He's supposed to be maybe a couple of neighborhood. If not, it indicates some dissatisfaction in the area. 958 votes. Another individual result is declared for Diakon Daniel Kibret, Prime Minister's closest advisor, also declared the winner in one of the Addis Ababa districts he competed in. Unfortunately, Dr. Branu Naga, Ethiopia Citizens for Social Justice Party senior official, lost in the district he competed in this election. He lost. Amara National Movement Party is a formidable challenger against Amara Prosperity Party in this election. Several media are reporting that these two parties are neck and neck in Amara region, especially in Gondar and the big cities. The outspoken and the fearless man, senior official of the Amara National Movement Party, won the election, and he will be a headache for Abiy Ahmed, who wants to surround himself by yes men all the time. So the Amara National Movement Party, I think Mr. Christian Tadele, he won the election, and some of the National Movement Party members lost, like the spokesperson. The election board has 10 days to officially declare how all the parties competed in this sham election did perform. So within the next days, the maximum is 10 days. So within 10 days, the election board must declare the winner of statewide, local-wide, whatever, which party. Is it Prosperity Party? It's expected it's Prosperity Party, but still they want to make look like official. In the meantime, the Ethiopian government reported the killing of 26 armed groups who, they say, attempted to assassinate Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed while he was in Jimma, Oromia, where he has voted and campaigning for resident votes. The government's claim is not yet verified by other independent media. So, some life lost, 26 Oromos. The government claimed they are armed group or Onek Shani. So they killed them. That's the accusation. Nobody knows what happened. Okay. Another life lost. An American volunteer as an election observer in Ethiopia found dead in his Radisson Hotel, Addis Ababa. Dr. John Marsh was a member of the Carter Center team of observers. The United States State Department confirmed his death in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The death of Dr. Marsh is still under investigation. So he was one of the members of Carter Institute. He went there as an observer. He is found dead. That's what there is. So far we know. We don't know what happened. So the detail is still under investigation. I hope they may have cameras. We don't know, but if we know more, we'll let you know. Credit for this one, the East Africa. Tigray People Liberation Front, or TPLF fighters, claim huge military victory in their offensive operations named Alula Abanaga, Africa's hero, against Ethiopia and Eritrean Defense Forces, according to TPLF military wing spokesperson Commander Gebre Tzadikan. Their operations were carried out in Tenbei and other several areas of the Tigray region. Commander Gebre Tzadikan is claiming that his fighters destroyed several ammunition depots, killing 1,000 Ethiopian soldiers, captured 3,500 of them, including senior military commanders, and confiscating 140 military vehicles, armaments from small to heavy artillery machine guns, bombs, and other explosives. There are also reports of TPLF fighters capturing the Adigrat town, and Ethiopian Defense Forces, in coordination with the Eritrean forces, are using heavy bombardment to retake the city from TPLF fighters. So it's a huge military operation in the Tigray region, you know. So TPLF are gaining ground, and Eritreans and Ethiopian forces are, operating jointly against TPLF. In a long time, we were told they are already done. No more TPLF. Everything is under Abiy Ahmed control. So now, all this fighting, all this bombardment, including using aircraft by Eritrean and Ethiopian, where this come from? This is, this is a different. And so that means the information they feed us is false. They say TPLF is over, it's an ash in the air. It's over. We control from border to border. Everything is under Abiy Ahmed. So everything is changing now. That's why the United States and the Western world told Abiy Ahmed and the Prosperity Party, stop the war, cease fire, start the dialogue, negotiate with all stakeholders, including TPLF. They refuse. Now they are killing each other, bombing. I will show you one video that TPLF, the video circulating on social media. All this is Ethiopian government soldiers under the control of TPLF. This is a situation the Americans they don't want to see. They want to see it stable Ethiopia, united Ethiopia, but Abiy Ahmed refused. He rejected all the calls for ceasefire. Hunger still going on. War still going on. Atrocities still going on. And it's gonna be like that until the winners are clearly known in the future. It's a very tough. But we Africans like power. We want to win by using power. That's the problem. We don't want to negotiate. We don't want to settle our issue diplomatically through dialogue, discussion. We want to show our muscles. So that's the challenge now. Also, on the other side, the OLF fighting and for resistance. They are resisting the Abiy Ahmed forces and the Eritreans in the Oromo region. So the fighting is still going on, very tough, and you might already seen OLF enjoying burning the polling stations, burning the ballot box, the voting cards, enjoy taking pictures at the polling places. That's the result of this guy, this Abiy Ahmed. He could settle all this conflict with discussion, with all stakeholders, instead of calling Shane, blah blah, terrorist organization, TPLF, Wayane, Junta. All these are unnecessary. It's gonna break the country. Okay. Here we go. This is very good news for coffee lovers. If you love coffee without adding cream, sugar, or dairy product, if you add that one, it's gonna be no good. But if you just love drinking black without cream, without sugar, without dairy product. Here we go. Drinking coffee of any types cuts risk for liver problems. Study says drinking up to 3 or 4 cups of caffeinated or decaffeinated coffee a day reduces your risk of developing and dying from chronic liver disease. A new study found. Coffee drinkers were 21% less likely to develop chronic liver disease, 20% less likely to develop chronic or fatty liver disease, and 49% less likely to die from chronic liver disease than non-coffee drinkers, according to the study published Monday in the Journal of BMC Public Health. So if you are a coffee drinker, you got more chance to prevent chronic liver disease or fatty disease than the non-coffee drinkers. Make sure still you follow the study. The study participants were followed. They drink black coffee without cream, without sugar, without dairy product. This would be especially valuable in countries with lower income and worse access to health care, and where the burden of chronic liver disease is highest. Study author Dr. Oliver Kennedy, who is on the medical faculty of the University of Southampton in United Kingdom, said in a statement. The study examined coffee consumption among 494,585 participants of the UK Biobank, a biomedical data-based and research resource, and then followed them for nearly a dozen years. So it looks like then, this research looks like credible. The number of participants are almost 500,000. It's a big participant, 494,585. And the timing is a dozen years. Dozen years. About maybe 24, let me see. Yeah, dozen years. So it's for a longer time. That's why I say this research seems credible, and it is a good way to prevent liver disease. So avoid using sugar, avoid using cream and dairy product. If you do that, I think you have a chance to prevent liver disease, and much better than those non-coffee drinkers. So if you are interested to read more about this research, what is liver disease, what are the causes of liver disease, mostly is alcohol and diabetes, overweight. So if you want to know more, you can go to www.cnn.com 2021 0621 health coffee benefits liver wellness. If you type in this, you will go to the research, and you will have more detail of the finding. So enjoy your coffee, and in the meantime also you can prevent the liver disease. Okay, the last one for today's reading. Sudan, Ethiopia agree to reduce border tension. Positive news. Sudan and Ethiopia agreed to reduce tension along their contested border following a meeting of military officials from both sides on Sunday. Military delegations from Sudan and Ethiopia met in the Galabat town of Gadaref state in eastern Sudan. The Sudanese side was headed by Brigadier General Babakir Ibrahim Al-Hajj, commander of the intelligence of the Eastern Military Region, while the Ethiopian delegation was chaired the head of North Gondar in the Amara region, but no name is given. Okay. The meeting, which lasted for hours, reviewed the security threats to both sides, including the repeated attacks on Sudanese farmers and herds by armed Ethiopian militia, and the Ethiopian fears of the establishment of camps in eastern Sudan to host refugees from the Tigray and Gumuz nationalities. The Sudan Tribune learned that the two parties agreed to halt the attack of the Ethiopian militiamen from the Amara region who used to carry out bloody attacks on Sudanese farmers and kidnap some of them. So you understand, because this is from Sudanese Tribune, Sudanese media. So you see the side how they are reporting. So the meeting further agreed to combat human trafficking, drug and arms smuggling. Also, the military from both sides reached an understanding to exchanging information about the prisoners, the reasons for their arrest, and possible release. The two parties reaffirmed the need to prevent military training for the Ethiopian refugees, to expel farmers from the military areas, and maintain the status quo on the border, a military source told the Sudan Tribune after the meeting. The two military delegations agreed the demarcation of the international border should be discussed at the level of political leadership between the two countries. So credit Sudan Tribune. So this is okay. It's okay if it's true. Discussion and to settle the border issue between Ethiopia and Sudan, and the other issue, the hydro dam. Okay, negotiation to settle the conflict. That's a positive news, and we appreciate that. That's a good one. But we will see. Usually they talk, but the practice is different. So that's the reading part. Thank you again for taking the time. Let's share some videos and finish up today's presentation. So the first one is, as I said, the Tigrayan fighters, they are claiming huge military victory, capturing senior officials, capturing soldiers. So it's a huge news. And now I'm gonna share this one. The captives, the Ethiopian soldiers under the control of TPLF. It's on social media. I just got it from Biniam Girmay, with Biniam Girmay social media, is Facebook. Let's see. It's a huge number of soldiers. There you go. You see how many they are? These are thousands and thousands. Okay, that's enough. So this is a huge number of captured soldiers, but it's not that much detail where this area is. This place is no talk, just pictures. So only a little bit in Amharic, say those who are already registered sit over there, blah blah. But no discussion. Is it in Adigrat? Is it Tembe? Where is it? So the location is not disclosed. But I know they try to show that they are not lying. That's why they put on social media, because if you just announce like capturing thousands and thousands of soldiers, and if you don't show the picture, then government media, government say, hey, they are lying. That's why they put on social media, to show that they are not lying. They are in a serious business. And I hope the incoming leader of that country understand and settle this conflict through dialogue and reconciliation. These are all our citizens. You know, you see how they are in a bad shape. We don't want to see this. We want everyone to survive, to grow, to develop, to prosper. So the conflict must end. Abiy Ahmed, I know he gonna be the head of prosperity, so that's obvious. He will be declared. So he has to change the mind. If he can't handle this job, he already showed us he cannot handle it. He should resign. We call on him. Why he just stick to the chair? Why? For what reason? To cause all this chaos, anarchy in that country, death and destruction. So concerned citizens media called upon him long time ago to change this course, to end the suffering of the Ethiopians. Okay, let's go to the other videos. I have some short ones.
Did you know that diamonds with the exact same 4 C's can actually look very different? Papers, allegations.
Okay, here you go. Okay, I got like short ones, maybe 2 minutes. 4 minutes or something like that. Very short one. The first one is about the election.
Of voter irregularities and a conflict that's denied hundreds of thousands of people their right to vote. Abiy Ahmed has described the poll as Ethiopia's first attempt at free and fair elections. Major opposition parties have boycotted Monday's election, while some who remain in the fray say ballot boxes were tampered with and their staff were attacked. From Addis Ababa, Mohammed Adar reports.
There were long queues of voters in most polling centers in several cities across Ethiopia, including in the capital Addis Ababa. Some of the voters started queuing as early as 4 a.m. local time. The Electoral Commission had increased the number of polling stations across the country to avoid large crowds from gathering at polling centers, to reduce the risk of spreading COVID-19, but also to hasten the voting process. It is the first electoral test for 44-year-old Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, who rose to power in 2018. Championing a democratic revival in Africa's second most populous country and a break from its authoritarian past.
Things are calm and orderly so far, but I just wish the process was a little faster than it is. We hope this election will bring peace and unity.
More than anything, I will vote for a party which I think will bring peace to our country, and I have finalized my decision on who to vote for.
There were delays in some polling stations though. The Ethiopian National Electoral Board says about a dozen polling stations opened late due to officials arriving late. Voting was extended in some polling stations to allow voters cast their ballots. The Prime Minister's newly formed Prosperity Party is the front-runner by a considerable margin in a crowded field of candidates, mostly from smaller, ethnically based parties. More than 40 parties have fielded candidates, but most are regionally based. Some opposition parties are boycotting the vote. In the battleground state of Oromia, opposition parties have boycotted the election, citing intimidation and imprisonment of some of their leaders and supporters. Some opposition leaders have, however, endorsed the process, calling it somewhat credible.
My expectation is that it would hopefully, with minor difficulties, would be completed in a credible way. That's what we are hoping, that's what we are watching very closely. Up to now, the turnout seems to be good. People are out in big numbers to vote. That's a good thing, that's a good sign.
Despite being billed as a nationwide contest, Ethiopia's elections are not taking place in 1/5 of the country's 547 constituencies. Elections in the Somali and Harar regions of eastern Ethiopia were postponed until September for what the Electoral Board called logistical reasons. Elections are also not taking place in the Tigray region of northern Ethiopia. Most of the delayed votes are scheduled for 6 September, but no date has been set yet for a vote in Tigray. The polls are being monitored by observers from the African Union as well as a number of Ethiopian groups. But the European Union did not send a team blaming Ethiopia for failing to guarantee the independence of its mission. Once the votes are counted, national MPs will elect the Prime Minister, who is head of government, as well as the President, a largely ceremonial role. Mohammed Adu, Al Jazeera, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
The Riksdag chamber in Stockholm was packed full for the momentous vote, an electronic ballot which took less than 20 seconds to confirm the outcome. Stefan Löfven is the first Swedish premier ever to lose a confidence vote. Löfven sat impassively on the front row as his coalition disintegrated before his eyes.
Statsministern och övriga statsråd.
Löfven is a former union boss famed for his negotiating skills, and since an inconclusive election in 2018, Löfven's Social Democrats have governed in a minority coalition with the Greens, while still needing the support of smaller parties to get votes through parliament. But his government proposals to reform Sweden's strict rent control system proved to be a red line for the Left Party, who warned that they would bring down the government unless the proposals were withdrawn.
Vi har gjort något som uppfattas som ovanligt i politiken.
We kept our word, said Nooshi Dadgostar, the Left Party leader. So Löfven now has 1 week to decide whether to call a snap election or resign and give the Speaker of Parliament the task of trying to find a replacement Prime Minister.
Och oavsett vad Regardless of what happens now, my party and myself will, together with others, be available to shoulder the responsibility of leading the country. My primary focus has always been, is, and will always be to do what is best for Sweden.
That's a heavy hint of what many analysts are suggesting, that with Sweden's fragmented political landscape and opinion polls showing the centre-left and centre-right blocs evenly balanced, it's entirely possible that the Speaker will hand the top job back to Stefan Löfven, at least until the next general election in September next year. PM may be down, but he's not yet out. Paul Brennan, Al Jazeera.
Okay, that's a challenge in Sweden. Let's see. I think I have one more about Iran. And that will
In other news, Iran's president-elect has declared his country has many more foreign policy objectives than just reviving the nuclear deal with world powers. Ibrahim Raisi gave his first news conference since winning Friday's election. He did reiterate his support for that agreement, but said he wasn't prepared to meet US President Joe Biden. Raisi emphasized it was the US that violated the deal by withdrawing 3 years ago.
Our interaction with all countries will be balanced. Any negotiation that is going to be the benefit of our nation will be supported, but negotiation should have an achievement for the great nation of Iran and its people. Our stance is that all signatories should return to the 2015 agreement and abide by their commitments. We are asking the Europeans not to be pressured or influenced by the Americans. Our people want their rights to be revived.
Let's hear from our correspondent on this first, Dorsa Jabari, following developments from Tehran.
I think at this point he's laying out very early on that he's hedging his bets in case this nuclear deal doesn't happen. He doesn't want to be responsible or accountable for that. I think he's playing it very, very safe. He's saying there are a lot of other issues, namely he also made a reference to Iran's relationship with regional powers, including Saudi Arabia, and the ongoing war in Yemen. He said that those issues are something the Iranians are willing to move forward on, including the fact that Iran does not have any issues with Saudi Arabia, that they are willing to sit down with them and reestablish ties. That is something that the previous administration has also hinted at. In terms of Yemen, he mentioned the fact that the solution for the war in that country needs to come from the Yemeni people themselves. But when it came to the nuclear deal, which dominated most of the questions from foreign media at his first press conference, he was adamant that this is an ongoing issue, that Iran is willing to go back to its original commitments if the United States returns to the deal and lifts the sanctions. He said as long as there is a benefit for the Iranian nation, that he doesn't see any issues with honoring this agreement. Of course, this comes at a critical time because there's a lot of speculation about what this new government, who will take office in August, will do in terms of the nuclear deal. But there's a push from Vienna now that there needs to be some kind of resolution soon. These talks cannot be ongoing indefinitely.
And now our White House correspondent Kimberly Halpert on how Washington's reacted to Raisi's win.
Well, in some ways, the White House is probably relieved, given the fact at least now there is an outcome in terms of these elections. There has been sort of a collective holding of breath, waiting for that, because it really was impossible to move forward until they knew who specifically they were dealing with moving forward. So now there is resolution on that, but the hard work begins, because Iran has made it no secret what it's looking for, and that is a lifting of those extremely punishing sanctions. And that is something that the United States up until now has not been prepared to do. Having said that, the United States, as part of trying to revive this deal, this 2015 agreement to limit Iran's nuclear program that the Trump administration, the previous administration, withdrew from, there have been signs of good faith, but it appears that that has not been enough. For example, there has been a quiet lifting of some sanctions that affect businesses as well as certain individuals. The State Department saying this is because those businesses or individuals were in compliance with U.S. federal laws and understandings, and so as a result, those were lifted. But that did not sit well with some House congressional Republicans who are now calling for oversight, accusing the White House of acting without congressional authority. So there are complicated issues here in the United States for Joe Biden moving forward. The big concern for Iran is that there Biden administration may live up or may not live up to its words, as we saw with the Trump administration.
Okay, that's
papers, allegations of.
so that's about the new president just got elected on a Friday in Iran, and how the United States deal with him, and you know, how the nuclear deal will be resolved, and how the negotiation can be started, all the issues, Middle East, plus other things. So that's a change of leadership in Iran. It didn't take 10 days really, just like quick. Within they voted, they declared the winner less than a day. So maybe they have more technology than Ethiopia has, or some system. So it was quick. So to finish, to conclude today's presentation, I will say again, as the others said, the Ethiopians and the global community said already, Americans, United States, they say this election is not the solution for Ethiopia's problem. So the results are obvious. Prosperity will be the dominant party. They may face minor challenge from Aben, Amara National Movement, and Izema from Branu Naga group. Minor. So still prosperity will dominate. So that's expected. So this leadership still must answer to Ethiopians and to the global community, find a solution to end the war in Tigray, to end the war in Benishangul, to end the war in Oromia, to end the war everywhere in Ethiopia. And to do that, ceasefire and dialogue, discussion, reconciliation with all stakeholders in Ethiopia, and demand the withdrawal of Eritrean from Tigray region and from Oromia region, plus from Benishangul Gumuz region. Tell them, stay your home, your democracy is better over there, don't bring to Ethiopia. We don't need your democracy. Give it to Eritreans, keep it there. So somebody should tell them, should tell Isaias Afwerki, please stay at your home. We don't want your freedom. We don't want your democracy. So until that happens, Ethiopia will be a mess and will be destroyed. So I hope the new cabinet led by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed will change the course, listen to Ethiopians, listen to the global community to settle this very devastating war in Tigray and Oromia and Benishangul and other parts of Ethiopia, plus the ethnic tension between Ethiopians. It's unemployment, global isolation. All these and other challenges could be ended if the leadership come up with a different approach. That's my conclusion. I will be back with other news and comments. Thank you so much. Be safe. So long, everyone.